Tomorrow night is our game of the season. It really is that simple. I'm not being hyperbolic, but tomorrow night is our game of this season, as Pochettino himself has been adamant that winning the Carabao Cup this season is one of our key club objectives. So tomorrow we have 90 minutes left to make sure that we have booked a place at Wembley in the final to hopefully win a tournament, which I feel in the long run could be what we need at this football club, what this young squad needs. I feel like if we can get to the final, it's going to help the inexperience in this team in the long term, and that's because by getting more familiar with how to control your temperament in like high pressure games like this, that's going to help these young guys in the future if they're more familiar with playing with this type of intensity and this type of pressure. And I'd like to hope that we raise our game tomorrow night, because if there's been one small positive out of all the negatives this season, is that in big games where we have to turn up, we've shown that we can raise our gears and we can raise our levels. So this energy is needed exactly tomorrow night. And I'd like to think that as we've had like a week now to prepare for this game, compared to Middlesbrough, who played like 2 days ago, we'll have a bit of like an advantage. And hopefully that will be in the form of having more energy, more fitness. Hopefully that will be in the form of having our home fans, of course, getting behind the boys tomorrow, supporting them, helping their confidence and pushing them on. And hopefully, most importantly, it will be in the form of the players who want to atone for how that first leg went and show why we deserve to be in the Carabao Cup final for this season. In that first leg, we saw the typical negatives that have kind of stained our season. We saw a combination of poor finishing. We saw that combination of being exposed in the counter-attack, a lack of intensity by dropping off, and most importantly, this lack of like chemistry in our passing game, where we don't know how to penetrate organized defenses, but we ran out of ideas, where our entire game plan becomes about playing balls out wide and playing hope and pray crosses inside the box. You know, this cutback crossing game has been a bit of a negative with this football club now for at least 3 years. Pochettino isn't the first manager to suffer playing this way, yet he continues to use this as the main way to break down organised teams. All these issues we saw in the first leg can't exist in the second leg, yeah? Otherwise, we're out, and then typically you're set to have those uncomfortable conversations around Pochettino, the manager of the club, and all that boring stuff that I'm sure many of us are getting a bit tired of having to talk about now. So tomorrow, we have to come back big, and tomorrow we must book our place in the Carabao Cup final. So my friends, I'm here to break down everything match preview. I hope you guys enjoy. Apologies for not being here. I've been in Amsterdam recently for the past few days. I just came back now, and yeah, I'm ready now to start making videos, and I hope you guys didn't miss me for too much. So my friends, if you're happy to see me again, hit that like button. If you think we're going to win and get to the final, only hit that like button without wasting any more time. So let's get team news out the way first. And even though players have returned now, guys like NKUNKU and a few others, players are still out injured. So don't expect to see NKUNKU playing tomorrow. The good thing is he doesn't have any serious issue, but he is still nursing, I think, a sore hip injury. So hopefully he's back for the next game. Another negative is that Gusto is out injured again, which means that we don't have any natural right backs now for the game tomorrow. Of course, we have no kind of understanding from when guys like Lavia is set to return back, but it seems like we probably won't see him until the season ends. It's the same thing for Leslie Gochukwu, and I think this is why we've seen Kasade and Santos return back to the club, as we know that these guys won't be part of the team now for a long time. So my friends, that's the team news out the way. And now let's dissect the key points from the press conference. And obviously, Pochettino reiterated the fact that getting to the final of the Carabao Cup is important for this season. And let's not beat around the bush here, but it's quite obvious that if Pochettino can hopefully secure some silverware in what's been a bit of an up and down difficult season, that's going to go a long way in safeguarding his career at this football club. So obviously, let's hope the boys raise their game tomorrow night. As Poch says, we need to beat a good team in Middlesbrough. We have to show them respect, because under Michael Carrick, they look like a team that, you know, they're a proper team, right? But at the same time, Poch feels like we must be confident that we can have a good game in front of our home fans. Obviously, you know, fans have to help support the team, but obviously the players must inspire that type of reaction from the fans. And when the two are like in unison, and when the two are at one, then you get those like unforgettable games where, anything can happen across 90 minutes, right? But to move on, of course, he felt like the team are still feeling a bit disappointed after how that first leg game went. And that's a natural thing. And that's something that I want to actually hear about, because if I was a player, I would feel annoyed that we didn't win that first leg. Yes, a combination of poor finishing, not taking opportunities, poor execution of final balls in the final third, all that typical stuff. I want these guys to be angry about, not playing up to their best potential and not playing their best game. So hopefully we see this reaction now tomorrow in that second leg. And outside of that, my friends, to end things very quickly, of course, NKUNKU is still out. Little hip injury, he'll be back soon. Of course, no new information surrounding like any outgoings around like Broja or any incomings, this potential Benzema loan move. Let's see if that happens. But he quickly mentioned, players that have been recalled back on loan, most notably in Kasade. Poch mentioning that during pre-season he played well, and Kasade did play well. I thought he looked quite decent. And obviously with the injuries we have in the team right now, there's an opportunity for Kasade now to start getting some minutes in the Premier League. He won't play in the Carabao Cup or any cup games because he is cup tied after his loan spell with Leicester City. But now it's an opportunity for Kasade to show why the club made a mistake in loaning him out to begin with, and then signing an abundance of other young midfield players as his replacement. So my friends, press out the way. And now I want to end things and spend more time discussing predicted lineup for our game tomorrow. So let's start with the lineup, and listen, as we know, don't expect to see Moreira or Santos or Kasade featuring in tomorrow's game. But I think one thing that I want to see tomorrow is an offensive lineup, an attacking team. And this means that I don't want to see a midfield three of Caicedo, Connor and Enzo. I just don't think we need three in games like this where the opposition are going to do their best work off the ball. The opposition will focus on protecting the spaces in behind, keeping their shape and picking their moments in the counter-attack. We've tried to play this way throughout the whole season against this style of team to absolutely no effect, and it's the main reason as to why we are 9th in the Premier League. We have to stop doing this, definition of insanity nonsense where we're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, because listen, we would have seen this already by now. It wouldn't take until 2024 to see any signs of progress. So tomorrow, Pochettino put out a team that wants to win the game right from the bat, man. Right from the start, and then focus then on getting the lead and then protecting it near the end. Then play your 4-3-3, yeah? So due to my reasonings, this is the lineup I want to see, and I'm going to explain exactly why I want to see this lineup. As you're seeing, Broja up front and behind, Mudryk on the left, Cole Palmer 10, Sterling right wing, in midfield, Connor, Enzo, in defence, Ben, Cole, Silva, Disasi and Petrovic in goal. Now starting from back to front, Petrovic, he speaks for himself. I think he's been a very good keeper for us, and I think there'll be such strong competition now between him and Robert Sanchez, because it's looking a bit even based on seeing their performances for the team, right? Even though maybe Sanchez might edge it slightly when it comes to his passing out from the back. Anyway, in defence right now, Disasi will play the Colwell role. That's how I'm seeing things. I think Colwell should be playing in defence alongside Silva. Why? Because number one, Silva does his best passing from the right hand side, and we haven't utilised any of Levi Colwell's passing range or ability throughout this season. We use it sporadically when he plays as a left back, but it's one of the best parts of his game, and I think we're missing out on not using that. And I think tomorrow is the best opportunity now that Ben Chilwell should be playing in tomorrow's game. And boy, have we missed having a natural left-footed fullback on that side. Obviously, we saw signs of what Ben could be under Pochettino during pre-season, and then for a little bit when he was playing left wing. And listen, even though he had some inconsistent results, the main benefits this team is set to receive is having someone that can make the overlaps, that can stretch the play, make those runs in behind, and of course, create those 2v1s for our left winger. That is the most important thing. And I think to myself, tomorrow is the key time now to focus on having an attacking fullback in the team, because it can't be Disasi going forward. Hence why Disasi must play the Colwell role tomorrow, where he's playing right back / centre back, creating that makeshift back three where you have Colwell on the left, Silva in the middle, Disasi on the right, with Ben having the license to get forward, and then Raheem Sterling, of course, is keeping the width from the right hand side. That is what I want to see. Anyway, this now takes us into midfield, and come on, I said I want to see 4-2-3-1, which means that I need to sacrifice someone in midfield, and I'm sacrificing Caicedo. And that's because during one of the most promising games of the season, it was the opening game of the new season against Liverpool, and I felt like Connor and Enzo had a really nice balance. Now for me, the most important figure in this pivot would be Enzo Fernandez, because he is the brain of our team. And is it any surprise during that opening game of the season, he had one of his best individual performances where he was running things. You saw his skill, you saw his expansive passing range, how he was pushing the team up the field. You know, the tempo he plays at. He is the brain of our team. And we haven't been using our brain for a while. And I want to see Enzo connecting with our defense, midfield, and our attack. That is when Enzo Fernandez is at his best. And I think to complement that type of deep line playmaker, you need to have that ball-winning midfield player alongside him. And I think currently Gallagher's doing better than that compared to Caicedo. Now, I'm not going to be talking time about Caicedo. That's for another video. Focusing on Connor, he's shown statistically he's one of the best dual-winning midfield players in Europe this season and in the Premier League. And with his energy, his aggression, of course, you know, his physicality as well. So you need to have that presence alongside a more, you know, deep line, supportive player like an Enzo Fernandez. So listen, I want to see us use that tomorrow, because if I have to pick two of them, it will be Connor based on form and Enzo based on ability right now. Now this takes us further up front, and obviously one of the main reasons why I've gone for seeing 4-2-3-1, it's not because of Enzo, it's not because of Chilwell, but it's because of Cole Palmer. Because I need to see Cole Palmer cooking as a 10 in tomorrow's game. Why? Palmer brings us that type of ability between the lines that gets missed. On top of that too, with Palmer's ability, he can link up with Broja. He can play off of Broja. He can play in behind to Broja. He is that connection between our midfield and our attack. And I just think that when he has more license to receive between the lines, that should help us a lot more. There will be times where Palmer can easily drop into midfield to create that makeshift midfield three when we're defending off the ball. He can do that, but I just think with Cole Palmer as a 10, that will help Broja the most, because when you're a striker like Broja that plays on the last lines, you know, your whole game basically is about looking to create that extra yard advantage, that extra yard of separation away from your defender to get in behind. And when you're playing like that on such small margins, it means that you need your teammates to find you and release balls into you quickly. And I just think that with Palmer as a 10, there's more opportunity for him to be able to find Armando Broja to link up with him. So this is why I need to see 4-2-3-1, so Cole Palmer can fully cook. And obviously outside of him, Raheem Sterling and Mudryk. I think Mudryk, it would be exciting to see him and Ben combining to create 2v1s. I think if Mudryk has more of a partner in crime on the left-hand side, I think even more can come from him. And I think with Raheem Sterling, he needs to hold the width, because we don't have any natural fullback on the right-hand side. Hence why I've gone for Disasi playing the Cornwall role. I think with Raheem Sterling, he's looked really good on the right-hand side. And most importantly, I like how him and Enzo Fernandez link up. Because again, similar to Broja, Sterling's game is about creating those yards of space and those degrees of separation to get the advantage against your opponent. So if you're playing like that, you need your teammate to find you early, to release those balls into you early. And we've seen throughout lots of games this season when they have played together on the right-hand side that Enzo always finds Sterling. He'll play like a sick pass between the lines that takes out 2-3 opponents to release Raheem Sterling. He'll play the ball over the top in behind early to release Raheem Sterling into space. And of course, he can combine with him, of course, with those 1-2s and nice bits of play. And I just think that, you know, seeing Enzo on the right, being the brain, give him guys close to him. For me, this lineup is a lineup I feel gives me a bit of promise that we can turn this whole game around, beat Middlesbrough, and book a spot in the final of the Carabao Cup this season. But anyway, my friends, they're my thoughts and opinions. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions behind the lineup you want to see. Share them below, go into detail, let us all know what you guys are thinking right now. And on that note, I am the EFC, this is Blue Lions CV. I'll see you guys tomorrow with some more videos. Cool.